his mom's house as a visitor or
I had
something.
to
That's
close
pretty
and
much
reopen
what
OBS because when I try to record a 6 video, it just makes a glitching part where
basically, it's your run-of-the-mill bad episode of Robot Boy.
it does
The
this
plot of the episode
glitching
is
part
very
where it
bare
is
bones, with that
not
really
on the
gross
stop,
running gag,
but
adding an
you have
extra
to
layer of
click
bad
it
to an
to
already
do it
cliche
all
and
over
bare
again,
bones
and
episode. But the thing
well,
that makes this episode worse in
oh
hindsight
well.
is that this is the series finale to the show. And I was genuinely shocked when I found out that this was the case, because in marathoning each episode of the show, I didn't marathon the series in the order of how Wikipedia or how the episodes are organized in the episode order. I watched them in the order of how the YouTube playlists organize them on the YouTube channel. And
I didn't know there was a YouTube channel that has all the episodes that aired on Cartoon Network.
That the show ended on.
See, guys, I told you it ended on a whimper.
If I were being completely honest, if this show were to end out on a regular episode, like Eek the Cat or the Flash animated seasons of Puka, I wouldn't even care.
Puka?
But this show actually did go out on a really sour note. Not
Extravaganza.
because they ended the series with certain characters
Cartoon
being
from the
in a really
1990s.
sticky situation, like Mandora Saves Christmas.
Mandora
from
Saves
Thundercats
Christmas.
Roar, or Bonfire of the Vanity from the Clutter segments of Eek the Cat.
Clutter.
But instead, they decided to not
Eek
do
the
something
Cat.
meaningful or go out with a shred of dignity, with the fact that Dr. Kamikaze and Constantine are still doing the repetitive formula, and all throughout the entire episode, the way that the show decided to go out, decided not to go out with any dignity or whatever. Instead, they decided
always
to go
thought
out
this
by
still
constantly
almost
doing
looks
a
like
running
a
gag with Dr. Kamikaze constantly
a
screaming
firm
"Bad
body of a
dogs"
girl.
at the dogs that belong to his mom. And right at the end,
Dogs.
there's Dr. Kamikaze being hit in the head with a wooden spoon. That's
A regular
pretty much
spoon.
it.
That's literally how the entire series ended. I don't care if the show had plans, and I know the writing is pretty bad, but they really couldn't come up with a better idea than to just have the main stupid villain get hit with a wooden spoon. Seriously?
Regular
Seriously?
spoon.
I won't say that this finale ended out on the biggest sour note, because unlike Mandora Saves Christmas from Thundercats Roar, it doesn't end on an unpleasant note. This episode is one of the worst finales of the shows that I have and will review in Sean's network reviews so far. So, in terms of shows that were reviewed in Sean's network reviews so far, is this show the worst? Well, considering the fact that by the time that this review is being made, I said that Thundercats Roar is worse than this show, and I still stand by it. Don't get me wrong, Robot Boy was much more painful to sit through, as this show has 52 half-hour episodes, Thundercats Roar has only 26 half-hours, and both shows do have a similar level of offensive things in them. Thundercats Roar is slightly worse, because even though that show also had offensive things in it, like how it handled death as a joke and how disrespectful it was towards the King of Thundera, King Claudius, that show knew about everything that it was getting itself into, yet they decided to do all those things anyway, making that show much more insulting, while the things that Robot Boy did were purely accidental for the most part. Not to mention, Thundercats Roar is much more assaulting to your senses, as there's more noise and the characters barely stay still for a second, making that show much more annoying and headache-inducing, while this show has annoying voices and that's it. So on that front, it's not as bad as Thundercats Roar. But how does it compare to the other two shows reviewed in this series that I don't like, the Tom and Jerry comedy show and Ollie's Pack? There's no doubt in my mind that this show is worse than Ollie's Pack, because even though this show has a lot of similar problems as that show, Robot Boy went to the levels where they legitimately added offensive content like family abuse and abusive friendships, but saw absolutely nothing wrong with those things, while Ollie's Pack didn't go to the point where they added those triggering things. The worst thing that the show did was that Ollie did despicable things, and it was incredibly unpleasant. And with the Tom and Jerry comedy show, at first this decision was a tough one. While this show isn't as boring as that show, as I went along and started getting more frustrated with this show, it got up to a point where I said that I would rather watch the Tom and Jerry comedy show than this, because Robot Boy was much more painful to sit through. And the worst thing that the Tom and Jerry comedy show did was that it told bad jokes, inflicted pain onto Tom for no reason, and it did the classic cat and mouse duo dirty. Meanwhile, with Robot Boy, it has two of the things that I mentioned with the
Inflicting
Tom and Jerry
pain onto a
comedy
character
show,
who
but
did
with the
nothing
addition
wrong.
of the portrayals of family and friendship, its gross out, its disregard towards the concept of personal space and obnoxious voices makes for a much more painful experience. Gem?
Jem, did you fall asleep?
Gem? Gem?
I love you, my lady!
Do you
My Hero
have
Academia.
more to say about this show? After the final verdict, this would be the point where I would give out recommendations on whether to watch this show or not.
Okay, I know I haven't spoke a lot. Seriously, I'm tired. You want me to just spit it out and get it over with?
Yeah.
Okay, my thoughts. Even though I haven't seen all of the episodes of the show, I don't need to in order to truly understand what the show really is. All the characters are either stupid and unlikable, the comedy is stupid, cringy, and gross. It's incredibly inconsistent with the rules that it presents us and never follows through with it. And honestly, it's just not that great of a cartoon show. Now, I will admit this. Robot Boy did have the potential to be a modern hit. It really could have. It's not like Coconut Fred Fruit Salad
Coconut
Island,
Fred's
whatever
Fruit
it's
Salad
called,
Island.
where it had no chance, and it's obviously catering to the SpongeBob franchise. But seriously, Robot Boy could have been decent. It could have been great. But it fails on many aspects. I wouldn't say it's a terrible show, like top 10, bottom of the barrel, really terrible, completely avoid this show, like the plague material, but it's still pretty bad, all things considered, and I wouldn't recommend this, and I would seriously not show this to my kids. It's not that great. If you like it, good for you. I don't care. Keep it away from me. Go play with for all I care. Thumbs down for Robot Boy, and I
Thumbs
really don't
down.
like this show. That's it. I'm done.
That's all you have to say?
I just told you that I'm done, but yes, I am.
Okay. If we didn't make this clear by the tone of this
I think I need to cut my toenails because I really have a bad habit of getting ingrown toenails.
Perfect by any means necessary. They will leave you feeling much more satisfied and won't leave you feeling angry, baffled, or unclean. As I said before, while the show isn't the worst show reviewed in Sean's network reviews, it's definitely in the top 3 for sure. If you want to watch
top
a show
30.
that is this show done right, watch Teacher's Pet and My Life as a Teenage Robot instead. They do something with their premises to make those shows enjoyable. They have likable and interesting characters, and while those shows could be considered generic and generally have people debating on whether they're good or okay, they're much better written and don't have disgusting excuses for characters like Gus. And being quite honest right now, I'd rather watch Johnny Test than this show.
Johnny
Because
Test?
even though that show did get ridiculed for its overuse of sound effects, and it also used every concept in the world for an animated series, that show at least didn't use triggering and serious topics and treat them as if
Ridiculed,
it's
but
not
triggering a
problem. And
bunch of
voices were
Pokemon
much more
fans
tolerable,
watching this.
as well as the fact that it did start off okay for its first season. It wasn't great, but it was a standard first season that would determine whether it would get better or worse. And Coconut Fred Fruit Salad Island is better than this show, because that could at least be considered as a so bad it's good show, and the most that it did was rip off SpongeBob. I won't say that
It ripped
Robot
off
Boy is the
a
worst thing that
SpongeBob
cartoon
ripped
ever
off
acquired,
a
but it is
SpongeBob ripoff
definitely
made by
top
Warner
30
Brothers.
show, and Robot Boy is definitely going to be a candidate for a top 10 worst forgotten cartoons
You know,
list.
Coconut
Every
Fred's
bit
voiced
about
by
doing
Rob
well in the
Paulson.
future. It is one of the worst cartoons reviewed in Sean's network reviews so far.
Special thanks. Well, that was pretty good for a review, but the actual TV show and the episodes, the animation with the action sequence are pretty good, but it did have a bit of really terrible fart and poop humor, and well, I gotta say, Donnie is gotta be one of the most abusive bully brothers in the series, and Gus is really basically one of the dumbest characters and worst friends that Tommy ever made. I don't know if I want to watch the series, but I'll find out. And whenever I do a voice of Meowth of Team Rocket, the Gem of 99, you make a very good voice impression of James from Team Rocket. I like I like to have a duet with you sometime soon with that other female voice actress who is on YouTube, who also does a very good voice impression of Jessie from Team Rocket. Anyway, that was my reaction to Sean's Network Reviews, Robot Boy, featuring the Gem of 99. I hope you enjoyed my reaction. If you like me to react to more cartoon reviews like this, comment down below. And if you like my reaction to this video, click a thumbs up, give this video a like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to notify updates for me. Another reminder, if you really want me to watch and react to an entire anime TV series, Pokemon, please, I'm begging you, comment down below. Thank you, Something Different 765 for suggesting me to react to this video. This is Ponylover1989, and I will see you all next time.